Top's a bit loud. It'll calm down.
Are we on? Are we on? Are we live? I have a black screen again.
Nothing on my end.
Let's try and see.
There we go.
It says I'm live, but I've still got a black screen. Is anyone able to see? Still trying to figure out OBS and YouTube Studio. Okay, I think we might be on. Good. Okay, let's see, let's check. We've got the pencil, we've got the rubber, got the sketchbook. I have got a pen, but we didn't really need it last time, so we're going to see how it goes. Today I've also popped the mic on this side and the light on that side, so hopefully that should help with shadows. I did notice last time that the shadow was kind of on the wrong side, so hopefully that will help. And hopefully that's all good. Let me just see. Oh, very bright. Hello. Very, very bright. Today we're going to be going through the second week of Peachtober prompts. Well, we'll just see how far we go, really. Yeah, we did the first week last time. It took an hour and a half, and everyone has some really cool ideas. So hopefully we can get some cool ideas again this time. I'm looking very pink. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, I think this week has some really weird prompts. There's a lot of strange ones this week, so I'm not really sure, but try and come up with something. I think last week's were a little bit more basic. We had like sky. I can't think of any others. We had poor. We had a few basic ones, but I think this week we've got some more interesting ones that'll be fun to go through. And then afterwards, I'll be able to make a start on Peachtober soon. We've got week 2, 3, and 4.5 to set up, and then hopefully we'll be able to make a start. Swap over. Oh, thank you. It looks extra bright in this light. Right, so last time we did Daisy Sparkle, Poor Sky. That's what Sky was. It's not a simple idea that we came up with, though. I really like it. Fawn and Sketch. And we did Bud. So first up, we do have quite a simple prompt, but I know that there's a lot more unique ones coming later. We've got River, and I didn't have much of an idea for this one, so I've just put something surreal that looks like a river, kind of like tea dripping down a tea dripping down a mug. That's because I was going to say river. So kind of looking like a river, or something like a tear down a face, something like that in the shape of a river. That's the idea that I had. The other idea was a mermaid because you could possibly make the tail kind of look somehow like a river. You might be able to do that. I like the idea of doing something that can look like it. You could do a mermaid in a river with a tail that looks like a river, with a hair that kind of looks like a river. Like you could do loads of things like that. But I don't have any solid plans. Does anyone have any ideas for river? I quite like the idea of doing a tea, to be honest. I think a tea could be quite cute. You could do it in, I've already done one in neocolors actually. I did a hot chocolate in neocolors, but I think a tea could be a really cute idea, maybe in gouache or something. So, should we get sketching? I think right now those are the only two ideas that I've got. So yeah, there should be less of a shadow this time because the light is on that side, so hopefully that will be better. We're also starting an hour earlier because of the lighting mostly, because it got quite dark last time, finishing at like 7. Going abstract sounds like the way to go. Yeah, I think it could be really cute. I mean, we need to do 31 prompts, and I'm aiming to start and finish Peachtober within September. I mean, it's already like the 11th. So if I'm going to be doing 2 a day, I can't really make it super detailed. So let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Oh, the camera looks so good. I'm so impressed with this camera, honestly. Like, that's pretty good quality. Right. I think I'll give the tea idea a go first. Sorry, that was just me moving on the chair. That wasn't anything else. I'm doing a frame, but I think the tea would actually look a lot better if it was square. So I'm just going to do a rough frame for it. And kind of what I'm picturing is possibly right in the middle, even though it's a portrait book, putting it right in the middle and kind of framing it into a square. Ah, good morning. How are you doing? Actually, good morning. It's afternoon here. I guess you're in the States, aren't you? Just working on the first prompt, which is number 8 now, and it's river. We've got some pretty unique prompts this week, but we are starting on quite a basic one. But I was thinking of doing something surreal that kind of looks like a river. The only ideas we've had so far really are like a tea with a drip that kind of looks like a river and maybe a mermaid. I don't know if you guys have any other ideas. I think I've done it a little bit too far. So yeah, the idea that I had was, I mean, we could do it on like a saucer maybe, that could be quite cute. And then I know I said neocolor and gouache, but I think for this one, maybe watercolor would work because you could have, your splotches and splashes all around the outside to really kind of frame it. So it's right in the center. And then you could have like a little bit of steam coming out the top, which again would work really well for watercolor. You could do like a roast dinner landscape with a gravy river. I think I've actually seen that before. Mash for mountains or canyon, peas for rocks and stuff. I think I've actually seen that before. Are you talking about the posters in Weatherspoons? Because that's exactly what they're from, honestly. I don't know if this is going to work. I mean, to me, a river kind of looks like just kind of like windy. So all that I was thinking was kind of that you sort of start here and go all the way, and then it could even come onto the saucer. Maybe it like pulls over there. It looks messy, but I kind of need to shade it in just to know that that's where the water would be, or like the tea. So that was the idea that I had. The second idea was the mermaid, which, how are we going to do this? If we do the same kind of wiggly motion, kind of like this, I think it needs to be a little bit more. I think this one's a bit tame. So maybe if we do this, it would have to be a lot more going on. But like that? Does that look more like a river? I don't know. Maybe it looks more like steam now than a river. I've done quite a few mermaids. I actually did a few for in the doodle diary this year. I did mermaid the year before. So I do like drawing mermaids. So we could do on like a rock maybe. And what if they're kind of like this on a rock? And then you can kind of see the river. This is gonna look really random because it's like not got much substance to it. It's just a random person. But basically, as a gesture kind of pose, it would be something like this. Don't know if you'd be able to make it look wobbly. Kind of like that. Does that look like a mermaid tail? And then you'd probably have like an arm somewhere here, maybe another one behind. And then you'd want the hair to actually look like a river, I feel like. Kind of like that. And then I'll just add some eyes because then it might start to look like a person. And eyebrows because they always look very strange before you add eyebrows. Um, there you go. That's kind of looking like a face. And then she doesn't actually have like a back. And this would probably need to be quite a bit bigger. I'll go over some of the lines to make it look a little bit better. Hey Ronak, how are you doing? It's quite late where you are, isn't it? At the moment, it's currently like 4:15 in the UK. The prompt that we've got is river, and haven't got a ton of ideas this time. I mean, I quite like the hair. I do think the hair kind of looks like a river a little bit. The eyes are looking a little bit odd, but I mean, it's quite a cute idea. I don't really know what we do for the clothes. I guess we can kind of just start with something. So kind of a mermaid, but then what you would need is you'd need it to kind of look like water all around here for it to look like a river. That would be the kind of awkward part. But you could have like a couple of mountains behind, that might help. Kind of like that. Ignoring this, these are our these are our random rivers. Oh, alcohol markers, that's a shout. I think watercolor would definitely work better for this idea, but alcohol markers we could do for this one. I mean, a lot of it will really depend on if it will bleed and go a little bit weird on this paper, like if it spreads, which I'm gonna have to do a load of tests. But we could say if it's this one, we'll do watercolor. And if it's this one, we could do alcohol markers. I don't think I need to make any extra notes. I like the splashes idea on this one, which we might be able to take on to this one. Maybe you could have like random sort of splashes here to make it look like water. I mean, it is a river though, it's not waves, so I don't think it would look too splashy. But I like it, I like the hat. I don't know which one to go for, they're so different really, aren't they? This one's a little bit hard to see, so I might just go over some of the line work. Obviously, it's very sketchy though. There we go, kind of looking like a river. I think they're quite cool ideas considering it is such a simple prompt. But the ones we've got coming up are definitely not. So, don't know which one we're going to do, but I think that's a good idea for river. Should we have a look at prompt 9? Honestly, I like both ideas. I think I might try and reuse one of them if we struggle to come up with ideas. There's a couple that I do already like that I might reuse. Prompt 9 is apricot. Okay, if anyone has any ideas for apricot, all I have is a cute little child character with fruit on their head and clothes. So if anyone has anything decent for apricot, then feel free to let me know because I don't have any good ideas for apricot. So this one is actually based off what I did previous Peachtober. I mean, it's not based, but it's a very similar idea. I think the prompt was lemon, something along the lines of lemon, and I did a little lemon boy. So I'm kind of thinking of something similar. It would be like it'd be like something in Animal Crossing is kind of what I'm picturing, like a child with a crazy outfit and a crazy hat and something really silly that kind of looks like it's in a children's book. Isn't there like a parrot or small bird called an apricot or something? I don't know, is there? I mean, that would be cool. It's definitely going to be the color. I actually have a new neocolor. I think I ordered one in apricot. I have the package down there, but I haven't been able to open it yet because we're going to be filming a video for it. But I think I have a neocolor that is literally the apricot shade, so we might be able to use that for this. Maybe like gouache and neocolors. I mean, I've not even drawn it yet. Let's do a random sketch of a random child that could look like it's in a children's storybook. Yeah, I can't even picture what an apricot looks like. Okay. I think we're gonna stick to relatively square, even though the actual thing it's in this book, it's A4. So it will be here, but I quite like the idea of doing some that fit within. So then if I photograph it and was to turn it into prints or something, it would be a little bit smaller. Also, I don't think some of them will just work if they're really long like that. Like, I don't know if a child will work. This is already not long enough. I've already shrunk this by quite a bit. Could do a Hawaiian style shirt. That would be cool. I mean, we could put the child in a Hawaiian shirt. So, should they sit or stand? What do you think? I am actually going to Google a picture of an apricot. Here we go. This is an apricot. Do we want to do it like open or closed, do you think? Because it looks a little bit odd with this in the middle. We could do a shirt. We could do a shirt with that. Maybe like on the head, maybe the hat will be like halved. How will that work though? Let's see what we can do. So we could do a child like cross-legged because I think that would be quite cute. I've got to try not to make the head too big as I always do though. I don't really draw children, so. Okay, so they're kind of like this. And then the legs kind of go up and then they'll go back. I'm not sure. I've only done a cross-legged person once, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Oh yeah, the leg needs to be. I mean, this is like the legs are far too long for a child. I think that's the biggest problem. Because they kind of need to cross, don't they? There you go. That's kind of cross legs. Could make them look more like a child sitting. I think it's a bit better, but I do think this leg is a little bit long here. Hawaiian shirt. Okay, I've never drawn a Hawaiian shirt. Let's give it a go. So, obviously I'll have an actual reference when we're like doing the actual piece. Like a t-shirt? I think a t-shirt could work better, really. Kind of like a big baggy t-shirt, isn't it, really? I don't actually own any. And then I need to stick the arms somewhere. Maybe the child could be holding an apricot? Or would that be too much apricot? That would be a lot of apricot. So they need a hat. Hat that kind of looks like this. Oh, maybe like a beret, maybe. Like half of it kind of looks like that. I can't really picture those either though. I don't have much of an imagination. Kind of, I mean, that looks like hair. It's supposed to be a hat. And then cute little ears. This doesn't look like a child. We need a rounder face. I mean, it is not going to look like a child anyway because they're literally wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Let's do a kind of rounder face. And we'll do the hat sitting a little bit lower. So hopefully it will look a bit more like a hat. We could do a cute little fringe. That could be cute. Fringe is kind of in the eye though. There we go. That sort of looks like eyes. It's looking a bit more like a person though. Yeah, that was in the previous Peachtober. I did a lemon boy for lemon. And I think we have just created an apricot boy. So it's quite similar. I really can't picture what a hat like this looks like. And then we need a load of apricots over the shirt, which isn't going to look like an apricot really until we actually draw it properly. There's no way to like quickly draw an apricot and make it look like an apricot. I mean, it needs to be pretty covered, doesn't it, to be a Hawaiian shirt? It needs to be very full. And then holding a fruit? Holding a fruit work? Would that be a little bit on the nose? And then the other arm can just disappear. That can just disappear out the back. I guess we could do like it kind of like balancing, so it's kind of here. And then I don't think these legs really work. And I think this child does look a little bit older than what I was imagining. Maybe that's the face. And I think the legs might be a little bit too long. Because this child looks like, I don't know, like 12. It's not really what I was going for. I don't know, should we just do a background? Or what if we do like a watercolor background and just drop a load of like orange paint everywhere? So it kind of looks like blurry apricots, but then you'd need a bit of like the leaves showing, I think, to make it look like an apricot. That is the only thing. I'll have to make a note because there's no way that I can draw this and make that look blurry with pencil. But we could do some big and smaller ones. I think that could be quite cute. Because I would like to do more characters. That is something that I'd like to do. But that does mean that this person's kind of ended up watercolory. Unless... I don't know if we could just slip neocolors anywhere. I think it would be quite hard. I think the background would have to be watercolor if it's going to look blurry. Because it'd be really hard to achieve that with anything else. If you were going to do like alcohol markers and try and make it blurry, which I can't really do, I don't have the experience, you'd have to use two colours, but with watercolour we can just wet and drop. So that would be a lot easier. But I kind of would like to use neocolours a little bit. Um, Possibly. So what, say it's a blurry watercolour background. And I would kind of like to use the apricot neocolor that I've ordered that's somewhere. Or the orange one as well. That could work. Maybe. That's the ideas I've got. But I want this person to look a bit younger than they are. Because they're supposed to kind of look cute. And I don't know if this person really does. Maybe. Oh, neocolor with water. That's a cool idea. I wonder if you could do like a watercolor base. And then we could possibly do something like neocolor around the hat and then use watercolor sort of to blend it in, or like just water. Because then you'd have the harsh edge and then it'd be slightly lighter in here. We could try that. So I'll put like wet. Maybe we could do that. Kind of giving teen energy. Yeah, I think it is definitely looking a lot older. So we're going to make it look younger. And I think the next one is going to be a lot more interesting, okay? I think this is a pretty good prompt. I think this is a really unique prompt. And the next one is pixel. So the idea that I had was kind of inspired by what Casey Golden does on her channel. I don't know if you've seen, but she does a lot of pixel art, and pixel art is kind of like they're like bits of Lego almost, but like flat. And you sort of get like this plastic tray and you pop these like bits of like flat Lego on it and you make a piece of art. And then you use ink and then you like print it like a lino print. That is what she does a lot on her channel. I don't actually have any myself. But the idea that I had was kind of doing like a ton of boxes in a grid like this and you just fill in like certain areas to try and make a piece. That's the idea that I had. It's very different to anything that I do, and I think the hardest part would be creating the boxes. I don't think I have any paper. We have to have a look. I might have some graph paper, which would make this a million times faster. I'll have to have a look. I might do, you know. But a ton of boxes like this and just fill in the boxes, I think that'd be really cool. It's such a unique style, and she does it a lot. She does it with the actual official pixel art products, which I don't have. But yeah, like blocks of color that kind of look like Lego or pixels. If I could find grid paper, that would be so much easier. And then we could just use like, I think the alcohol marker would spread, but we could use like a water-based marker or something to fill it in, or even like a color pencil. So we know the style that we're gonna do, but I don't have any ideas of what we're actually gonna draw. It's gonna require a lot of patience. I mean, I think if we can use grid paper, I think that's the hardest part because if I'm drawing like an actual grid on here, I think that's gonna take a long while. But I think if I can find some grid paper, that would be easier. It's so open-ended, it really is. I don't know. We're gonna draw something in this style, but what are we gonna draw? Because we could draw anything. We've got a person and possibly a person here. So maybe we could do like a bit of a landscape or something instead. I mean, I don't know if something like a boat would work because it would kind of be like that. I don't know if that would be cool or not. Like it could potentially be. We could do a boat and then it would just kind of be like that, I guess. We could try something like that. But yeah, you would need like quite a bit more because I mean that's very simple. It'd have to be quite a detailed landscape. And also, saying all this, we are working portrait, so we're gonna have to really think about it. I will draw another box. It's a cool prompt though. There's so much you could do. Like it would be interesting to see what everyone else does because I think there'll be so many different subjects, even if we're all going in like a similar style. It's also going to be hard to sketch because I have to picture where the boxes will be. Um, okay, so say that we've got a boat here. So here's like the river or the sea. And then we need some mountains and we need a boat. I mean, if we just roughly draw like where the boat would sit. Oh, what we could do is we could end it so it doesn't like come off the edge of the page like this. We could have it so it kind of that would be impossible to do in gouache. Maybe I could do acrylic markers. That could work. Maybe like the bullet end. That could work. Yeah, I feel like the edge, rather than being right up against the edge, it should kind of go in and out like this. If I can draw that somehow. So if we go straight here, and then kind of like this, it kind of looks like a sandcastle that's upside down. Chisel tip highlighters. I mean, anything with a chisel tip could work. I just struggle to control them. But that's a cool idea. If I can find the graph paper. If we can find the graph paper, then we can do anything really. I think that's sort of what it would look like. And then the flag would kind of go like that, maybe? If it's boxy. It does kind of look like golf. It's not really looking like a boat. Maybe that's because we didn't include this bit here. Unless, yeah, I could do. I can't really picture it, to be honest. This is just a rough sketch. The other question is like, are we just going to do cubes like this, or are we going to do triangles? Because if we do triangles, then this could look a lot more like a boat on the side. I'm kind of doing the boat from behind, but maybe it'd be better to do it on the side. So it's just a basic flag, but then you could potentially do like more like a sail. Something like that. It really depends on if we're going to do triangles or not. And then we've got a mountain. We could do quite a few. Don't know if it's going to end up looking like it though. Yeah, I think it will have to be square. I think it'll be easier with references though. Because right now that's not really looking like a mountain. Oh, I bet if we do like fog, that could be quite cool. Be like, here? Does that look like it's gonna be really difficult to try and make it look like anything really though? I think it would have to be quite detailed. So we could say that it's like a boat with mountains and maybe fog? I don't know. It could look like fog if it's grey. I've done something kind of like this before, but obviously not in this style at all. Um, yeah, what can we do? So we said like something chisel tip. Maybe, I think the alcohol would bleed if it wasn't on good paper. I think it'd have to be water-based markers or highlighters. And then we could potentially do acrylic markers. That could work, which aren't chisel tip, but because they're bullet nib, that might be better. I mean, if I can't find actual grid paper, it's going to be more simple. But if I can find it, then we'll go more detailed. I think that'll be the way forward. And I mean, if I come up with any better ideas, maybe I'll do that. At the moment, it's just anything in the style of like pixel art. So it really could end up being anything. And moving on to number 11 now. Number 11 is wheel. So I didn't have a ton of good ideas for this one. I just thought of a wheel on a car or a blown out tire with anything in it. What did I say first? I can't even read my own writing. But you could do a tire with anything in it or a wheel on a car, which is actually making me think of the first idea that we had. This one. Like, what if we took that idea, although that would then be very similar to that one if we do that one for Daisy or that one. Cartwheel. Hmm, I'm not sure. But I do really like this idea that we have. The problem with Daisy is I actually like all three of them. And there's a couple of them like the Tea and the Mermaid where I also like both of them. So I kind of want to repurpose this one just so that I can use it with one of these. but maybe swap it to a different car that has like a wheel on the back. Oh, hi Renika, how are you doing today? It's quite late where you are, isn't it? It's currently four, like quarter 5. We're not going as fast today as we were last time. The prompt that we're currently on is wheel, and I'm a little bit lost with wheel. I just thought of like a wheel on a car or a blown out tire or something. And then that got me thinking back to this one because I really like all the ideas for Daisy. I can't picture what car I'm thinking of for this, but you could potentially like combine a few. What car am I thinking of? Is it like a camper van or something? Is that what I'm thinking of? Like an old, kind of like these, but like the back of it. That's what I'm thinking of, I think. Let's have a look. Oh, this might be what I mean. You see how it's on the front? So we basically, instead of doing a little Volkswagen Beetle, we could do a camper van because then the wheel's on the front. Because then, I mean, like this one has 2 wheels, but then would be drawing 3. Oh, it's 9:15. Yeah, I think I started at 5 last time, so it was a little bit later. Must be like, yeah, there's a lot later then. I think it's a decent time though in Britain if we go live at like in the afternoon, because then people in the States are awake in the morning and you're awake but it's late. I think that might be the best time. Apart from in Australia. Sadly, this time doesn't work at all for Australia. Hi Carla, how you doing? Are you guys up to anything interesting today? I think I'm just going to start potentially drawing this beetle, kind of in the same style to the other one because I want to reuse it. I do want to use it. We've come up with some cool ideas. Just because the other one only has 2, so I think this one might work better. Obviously, it will be better if I do it with a reference for the proper sketch. We're just doing it quite quick today. I think that's way too high. That might be far too high. I don't know. I've got a proper rubber today, so so it's got a wheel here, and then the wheels underneath are quite subtle, really. I don't know if they're really going to be seen. They're kind of like here. So I don't know if they're really going to be seen if they're underneath. That is the only thing. Yeah, I think this time is definitely best for the States and for you guys because I think it's kind of only Australia that this time is missed. The mystery machine, it does look a little bit like that, doesn't it? I think I've got the proportions completely wrong, but you know, you've kind of got the idea. The question is what else we're gonna add to make it look cool. Because right now it's just looking a little bit basic. I mean, obviously there's like a bit more going on here. There's kind of doors and, you know, stuff. Um, Sketchtember. That's really cool that you made your own prompts. Have you picked things that you'd like to do? Like, did you have the ideas in mind beforehand, or did you just pick them at random? I think it'd be really cool to use your own prompts. I'd like to do a September art challenge, but I just feel like the October ones are so big that you know, there's so much choice in October that I always end up going for the October ones. This is kind of looking like a bus. And the one that I've chosen, I don't know, this looks a little bit odd. It doesn't really look like a wheel, but I can't really see any others that have it. This one does, so I guess it would have to be that kind of thing. So that's the wheel element, but obviously we've kind of got daisy, we've already got flowers. So maybe we could combine and make it a little bit overgrown. Um, what you could do is you could have like kind of vines going like up the page and then kind of coming across maybe and sort of crawling like all over the van. Would that be cool? Yeah, I think it would look a little bit like that. I don't know, I just thought of something that has like a wheel on the front, and this is the only one that I could really think of. I guess maybe like a Range Rover has one on the back, but I couldn't really think of much. You could do, it depends how far we want to go into like overgrown, but I mean that could work. Or if we just want it to look cute, because this would be on top, so you could do this in like gouache or something, and then it doesn't matter what's underneath, it will just go over the top, especially if it's like acrylic gouache. A tent coming out the side, yeah, I could do. That would be like kind of like this, wouldn't it? That might make it look a little bit more like a camper van, which could be cool. You could have like a chair even. You could do like a little chair. It's been quite a few days already into the Sketchtember prompts then, really. I don't know where September's gone. It's kind of flown by. Random that this week you're doing portraits. Oh, that's cool. Did you design the prompts around your themes, or did you just decide afterwards that you're going to have like certain weeks themed around the prompts? Because that's a really cool idea. I did think before about doing like an art challenge that was just themed around portraits or something, because that would be a really good way to practice. So that's a really cool idea. With this, I don't know, gouache, maybe like vines, maybe, I don't know. This is just a sketch. I don't have much of an idea. So I might leave this one here. Next up is, I'm not a huge fan of this next prompt, okay? This is Earth. So if anyone has any ideas for Earth, I don't. It would be nice to do a portrait, like you said, though, because it will be like a few prompts that we haven't. I do really enjoy doing portraits. They're so fun, aren't they? What mediums are you using for Sketchtember then? Is it just like graphite and colour pencils, or I don't know if Sketchtember is just centered around pencils. I don't really know much about Sketchtember, but I know Inktober is obviously aimed around ink. Oh, a watercolor globe. I think I tried to do something like that before. We have had a similar prompt before. We had globe like 2 years ago. I just thought of like kind of like a creature, something like that, but I don't know. The first week of September you did nature, and the second week is portraits. That's a lot of fun. What have you got for the rest of the month? I think it would be really cool to have a theme like that. It'd be cool as well if you did like nature, but you had prompts that were nothing to do with nature, so it really challenges you. Because I mean, something like Earth, it would be quite hard to do a portrait for. But then I guess, like, loosely, if you really think about it, you can kind of work with them. And I think that's why prompts are so fun, because you can try and figure it out, but some are easier than others. Oh, what about, you said a globe. What about an actual globe, like, in a room? Or is that a little bit too obvious? What do they look like? They kind of go like this, don't they? Or is it like up? I haven't seen one in ages. But mine's looking like a planet, a different planet. You follow your own rules. Gel pens. Oh, gel pens for portraits. That's difficult. That'd be very challenging. I always find gel pens aren't very forgiving. Like biros you can kind of sketch with, but gel pens you have to get perfect lines. So that is really difficult. How are you finding it? We've really kind of done a desk though, haven't we? But you could do a globe like this, like in a room, potentially. What else could we do? I think I'm not a huge fan of this prompt, I will say. I'm not a huge fan. Like a library. Hmm. I mean, it would look good because we're doing portrait like that. So it could look good if we just get a rough sketch down. Like, I might change some of the ideas, but a library. Okay, let's. It'd be a load of books. You could maybe have a corridor. Would that be difficult? It'd be probably easier to do like a desk or something with a chair. It does look odd. So that's kind of our desk. That's kind of our chair. Um, and then I think I need to make the desk bigger if we're going to put the globe on the end. I don't know what medium we could use for this though. Probably different to the other one that's kind of similar. I'm going to use a lot of different mediums for this. I guess you could do alcohol markers maybe with fine liner. That could be cool. So we've got the desk. You could do a rug on the floor. I like rugs. And then the globe could sit here. Yeah, that looks a bit more like a globe, I think. With like random. There we go. Okay, so I think if we do. What if we have like a whole. I mean, that would be half, which would either look odd or not. We could do like 2/3, and this is just entirely like books. And then you could have a couple of shelves, maybe? A couple of small shelves with just random like stuff on. Random books, and I don't know if you can really tell what that is. And then, I mean, this would have like a lot of books on. This would be a lot. Those lines aren't straight at all. Try and ignore those lines. think Earth is such a difficult prompt though. If you do books both sides and leave the globe in the doorway to draw attention to it. I mean, we've got some books here. I quite like the idea of the globe being right in the middle. So then because it's right in the middle, I thought it'd look a bit weird if this was half, so I've done it 2/3 across. Just for composition, really. I think what we could do is we could shift the globe down. So, like, this is our A4, and right in the middle is where the globe is. That's huge, but that's where the globe's placed. And then we kind of work around that. So then we have like the desk and the chair and the books, and it kind of works around that. So imagine it a little bit smaller. So the globe's right in the center. I don't know why this chair looks so weird from behind. Maybe it's because I've done this bit here. It looks very odd. But I hope that that's dark enough to be able to see what we're doing. It's a bit wonky. Yeah, that is. I don't know if that's any better. A library, but the globe is going to be exactly in the middle, so I'm going to write that down. And I'm kind of thinking fine liner with alcohol markers could be good, because then you could perfect the sketch and just like do lines of alcohol marker along, and I think that'll be the easiest way to do it. I mean, we will try and do some watercolor, but I've heard that this paper doesn't handle watercolor very well. And I mean, I've tried the yellow version and the yellow version didn't, but I've heard this paper, it's slightly different, so it could be better. But I know the yellow version doesn't. Yeah, I think that'd be quickest because otherwise we'd have to like layer, I think, black fine liner. Then you just need to like color in between, like kind of like a coloring page, really. I like black fine liner because it's so easy. So now we're on number 13. How long have we been going? An hour. Okay. And we've done one, two, three, four. Oh, we've done five. Number 13? Yes. Number 13 is a bit of an odd one, okay? Number 13 is cape. I don't know why the page is sticking up like that. Number 13 is cape. So I thought of like a superhero or like a location. That's kind of all I thought of. I mean, if you guys have any cooler ideas for cape, I think that's a pretty difficult prompt, really. I mean, if I type in cape on Google, oh, I put cat, cape. Oh, a point of land that extends out into the sea or lake. That's kind of what I said with location. Accessory of clothing or landform. There's only two definitions, okay. Oh, what about that's one I hadn't really thought of. It's like Little Red Riding Hood. That's a cool idea. You could draw Edna from The Incredibles shouting. I mean, that would be pretty iconic. That would be perfect for something like the Creators book. I think that would be so funny if there's a prompt there that that will fit with. I like the idea of doing something like rather than a superhero like Little Red Riding Hood. I wonder if we could do something like that, like in my art style. Um, What if we do? I mean, we've kind of said about it before. What I was just thinking was, for fawn last time, we come up with this idea, and then this one about the silhouette, and I just thought, what if we do like the wolf silhouette and then the Red Riding Hood in the middle? But that's so similar to this one if we end up going for this one. Yeah, we haven't done a portrait. We haven't done a portrait in a few prompts really. So that would be cool. Um, she just has a cape on, doesn't she? But it has a hood. So what if we do an up close portrait, like in my art style? Because if the hood is up, it doesn't, you don't really need like the length showing. Um, Obviously, I don't know what the face is actually going to look like when we come to it, but the cape, let's have a look. Just trying to remind myself. So it kind of sits, I guess this one is going to be up, isn't it? We need it up to show it's a cape. Kind of like that. And then I feel like it kind of looks like something like an assassin. It doesn't really look like Little Red Riding Hood. And then it kind of like will have a clasp or something, won't it? And then it'll kind of go open a bit like that. Why does this one seem so big? I must have wrote this really far down. Pop that a little bit further down, actually. I think that there would be quite a bit more showing. Well, if we add a face, hopefully that will help. I think this is slightly wrong though. Don't know, I think maybe the neck, I don't know if it would really be on show. I think it would actually come a lot further down, but we'll give this a try. Just try and add a random face. I like the idea of the wolf silhouette, but I do think it's quite similar with the other one if we do go for that one. That is the only thing. I also think I've done this character maybe far too old, but I guess we'll see. And also probably like a little bit of hair would be kind of cute. Just on the side. And I guess it would be behind. I'd have to see about how it actually sits. Because I think we're missing some head. I think this needs to be a lot bigger and then probably go in a little bit more. And probably like sit further down. I think the nose is a little bit wonky too. But, this is just a rough sketch. Yeah, the eyes are far too high. That's an idea for someone that could potentially be it. Just to remember like what we're trying to do. So it would be fun to do a portrait. I don't know. I think it could work in any medium. It's just a loose idea. So you basically are doing this Red Riding Hood. And for the background, you could just do like a load of trees, like a forest behind. I do like the wolf idea, but I think if we were going to do that, we'd have to go for a different idea for fawn. Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. So this will be bright red as well. So something like cadmium red, like in watercolor, could look really good because it will look so different to all the others because I doubt I'm going to be using much bright red. So what did we say? The other idea was like kind of like that, and then the wolf would be behind, which I think is a cool idea. But we'll have to see one or the other. It depends what we go for fawn. So the final lot of the second week, I don't know how strong this second week is feeling, to be honest. Like some of the prompts have been pretty difficult. We have borrow. So I didn't really think of much for borrow. I've got an animal digging, but it's not a landscape. It's something surreal, like a quilt or something. So it's like an animal digging that looks like a basic animal burrowing, but then it's actually not that at all. That was kind of the idea that I had. I've actually already done something for dig before. I did in March of Robots, I did like a little mole digging a hole. So I don't really want to do that again, but I don't really know what else you could do for burrow. I mean, you could do something cute like a rabbit, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what medium either. I mean, if you guys have any ideas, like the prompt is burrow, I think that's a pretty difficult prompt. There's not a lot of options there. I think it's a really difficult prompt, this one. What about a cross section of a hill with a load of cute animals and tunnels, a bit like Fantastic Mr. Fox? Ooh, that's cool. I mean, I definitely need a reference for that. Hmm, not too sure. I did want to ask as well, how are you guys finding the audio? Because I can try and make it a little bit louder, but let me know what you think. I mean, on my screen, it's in the green, it looks pretty fine. So yeah, just let me know what you think about the audio. It's got the opposite problem of where that was really open, this is really specific. Yeah, I feel like something like, I mean, dig is possibly easier. Burrow. Let's see what Google says. It's come up with a sofa, hole or tunnel excavated into the ground by an animal. Yeah, that one's a rabbit. So we could do a rabbit or a fox, like you say. Something like Fantastic Mr. Fox. A sofa, I know, that's so strange. That's the problem with Google nowadays. You don't know what you're gonna get. So it's Burrow. We've got a portrait. We've got a little like room set up. We've got a car, a random boat, and a person, another portrait. And then they're both very different. And then we've got a flower. We don't have many portraits. We don't have that many animals, so it would be quite nice to do. But do we need to do it actually burrowing? So it's an animal and it looks like it's burrowing? Or could we just do something like popping out of like popping out of a little hill that they've made? So like it's just a hat? What do you think? Would that be kind of cute? I think the ears could actually be bigger. And I think the hill is probably a little bit too big. Little rabbit family popping their heads out. Okay, how are we going to fit more on here? I think the hill is too big. I think really it just needs to be like that. But then if we're fitting an entire family in, you could do like we could do a little baby rabbit here with a big rabbit. Oh no, that is probably far too big. We're gonna have to make this bigger. And I don't know if the baby is actually the right size. I can't quite work out how big this rabbit is. And then we'll do, maybe we should do one with floppy ears. This would be cute in gouache or maybe neocolors. Okay, so then we want some more floppy ears ones. Do those eyes look angry? Okay, we need a better hill. I think that rabbit would be about the right size if we're saying it's like really, really young. This one definitely looks mad. I don't really know what happened. Maybe we'll make the head a bit bigger for this one so it doesn't look. I guess they are small though. So kind of do it like that. I'll have to work at that because this looks a bit like a dog. But we could do like a little rabbit family. I mean, this would be quite a simple one really if we do it in like gouache or neocolor. This does mean that I am going to be swapping mediums quite a lot though because like they're all so different. Unless, I mean, this one is. I don't think we decided on a medium. We could try and do the same. It'd be nice to have some simple ones in though. We could try and use the neocolors wet because really, I mean, it's just the hell and each rabbit. This could be quite a simple one. We want to have some quick ones because, I mean, if everything is really detailed, it's going to take forever. I want to start Peachtober in September and try and get it all done really so that I can focus on like editing the videos and everything in October. I don't know, what do you think? I think it's kind of cute. If they look a little bit more chilled, they do look a little bit crazy. They look a bit mad. But I guess maybe like something's kind of woken them up, so they might be. Okay, I think we could just do two. Because I like this one, I like how simple it is. We could just do this one like that, and then we just have a little baby one here. That could be quite cute. I have to see whether the babies still have their ears up like that. But that could be really cute. Because I think I like how simple this one is. We need to have some slightly simpler ones in if we're going to actually complete the challenge. Which, definitely what I'm aiming for. I don't want to be going and going and going. I mean, we've got some proper crazy stuff, really. Like, we'll have a flip through and try and see if any of this is going to make sense or if this is going to be like looking at some random crazy sketchbook. So, I don't think it will be this one. I'll put a cross on this one because that's quite similar to what we've got. We kind of passed it over. So it'll either be like Nostalgia or the Little Baby Cow for Daisy. And Sparkle is a metallic portrait. Paw is either a paw print on a beach or an actual dog holding its paw. Sky is like a surreal landscape. Fawn is either going to be a silhouette or just a cute little landscape of some deers. Sketch is probably going to be this one. It's like an artist setup, which I think will be really fun, kind of like in a lo-fi kind of style. Bud is Little Buds of a Flower, which I think would be a lot of fun in neocolors. River, those two are so different for River. It's either a cup of tea or a mermaid. Completely different. I don't know which one we're going to go for. Apricot is a little apricot person again. Pixel is kind of like pixel art. If I can find some grid paper, that'll be a lot easier. Wheel is kind of like an overgrown on like a VW camper van with the wheel right in the middle. The sketchbook cover is gorgeous, isn't it? Considering it's literally just a Royal Talons art creation, that's all it is. I mean, it wasn't cheap. Um, it's got the white pages, that's why I got it. It was about £12, I think, for an A4, like 60, or is it 80 pages that it has? It's quite a big one. So it's not super cheap. I mean, the pretty covers on the art creations make it quite a bit more. I'd love to get all the pastel colours, but it does make it a lot more expensive. But I think it's a cool cover. That does mean I can't put stickers on though. I've got so many lovely stickers that I won't be able to put on it. I don't really know about Earth, but I think we're going to go for a little library setting. Cape is a portrait. You know, if we get the opportunity to do a portrait, we'll do one. And then some form of a rabbit or two or three in a soil, in a hole that might work. And I think that's good. I think we're good for 2 weeks, which means I can get sketching and possibly starting at some point. We will be coming back to continue next week. I'm thinking possibly like Wednesday and Saturday. I'm thinking about doing live streams because we've got like lamp, owl, slow and fast, which I have no clue what we're gonna do. We're gonna make them match. We've got loads of other ones to get through, so we'll be coming back. But for now, that's the second week all planned, which I think is pretty cool. How, yep, the hair's very pink. Didn't know what I was gonna look like then. And the sun is shining too. This cover though, I think this cover is absolutely gorgeous and it's a brand new sketchbook, so this is the first time that we're going to be working on it. And I can't wait to get started. I think having 2 weeks sketched out is enough for us to make a start, so that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be filming it all for my channel. I'm going to be filming it in 4-week blocks, so it'll be 4 separate videos. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're using any medium and all the Peachtober prompts. So it's going to be a lot of fun. That will be coming soon. I will be back on Wednesday, I believe, possibly Wednesday, and definitely Saturday next week. If you want to swing by to work on some more prompts with me, if you've got any ideas, because I don't have any ideas for slow and fast. other than like a tortoise. Oh, we've just done a rabbit. We might not be able to do that idea, like a tortoise and a hare. That might not work. But yeah, if you want to come and bring a load of ideas, because I'm struggling with some of these prompts, then I would love to see you there, have a little chit chat. Yeah, I mean, we've got through 2 weeks. We have made quite a bit of progress, haven't we, Carla? That's pretty good for an hour and a half. We did another week we got through. The other week we did a couple of days ago. But yeah, we'll aim to do a week each time. So it'll be Wednesday and Saturday that we're going to be back here doing a live stream. Yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for having a chit chat and keeping me company. I can't wait to make a start on these Peachtober prompts. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. If you're like in the morning and you've got lots of day left, or good night if it's the evening where you are. It's currently 5:30 here, so I'm kind of right in the middle of both. But yeah, thank you for joining, and I'd love to see you again. I'd love to see you on next Wednesday, hopefully. And yeah, thank you, and bye bye. I've got to knock myself out.